Waiting because we are now live. And hello, everyone out there in internet land. This is the Geek Battle show here on the Extreme Improv Extremed YouTube channel. And it's been really hot here. I don't know what the temperature is like where you are, Cap. I think, it might all be snow and that outside. But it's been so warm, and my laptop is already roaring like a crazy thing. So I hope it survives the heat.
Because of the heat.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm worried about. I've got like a fan underneath it. It's just like I don't know if it's gonna make it last out. But how are you, Capafave?
I'm doing okay in the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles. There's also weird angles for a moment. And guess what? 12-year-old monitors can still work, but do not mess with the refresh rate.
Yes, absolutely. Do you know what? I think so. I was just saying before we went live that I have a monitor just below my webcam where I'm looking now. If you were watching the video version of this, I've removed the monitor that was over here, but now I have one over here. So I could do we could both do the whole show just looking at the wrong angle. Yeah, you're looking that way. I'm looking this way, and that would be quite funny. But we won't do that.
Watching that YouTube tab.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we may be joined by others shortly. It's going to be a slightly shorter show today just because problems. But there'll still be an extreme improv later, but I have to disappear for an hour in between. So we're gonna cover all of the highlights here. Now, Capafave, have you seen the news? Have you seen about Superman's new costume? I don't know if we've discussed this. Yes, it was. It's the most important news of the week, obviously. But we have got the first pictures of David Corenswet as Superman.
When I first looked at that picture, the one thing that I made me realize that the point where we made is younger Henry Cavill is 100% true. It's just younger Henry Cavill.
100%. I completely agree. It's just... Here's the thing. He is obviously younger than Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
But he kind of just looks like 5 years younger Henry Cavill. He doesn't even look that different.
Yeah, not that much of a change.
Yeah. Okay, open link in new window.
Oh, no. Curly style hair for Clark Kent. That was the thing that Snyder had as well. So you're just gonna do everything except the story's gonna be different. No more slow motion, guys.
So let's bring this out onto the screen there. So I'm not a fan of the logo. To me, and I demonstrated this. I don't know if I've got it so that I can easily show you, but it is just the Ghostbusters logo. Let's see if I can actually find that. But yeah, to me, it is absolutely just the Ghostbusters logo. I shared it. Where did I share it?
It's in the Geek Battle chat. It's in the Geek chat.
Yeah, but I shared it publicly. I was proud of this one, Cap. I was photoshopping it and everything. But no, I think I shared it on Twitter. So let's bring this up. An audience, if you haven't seen this before, if my internet loads in any quick time to be able to show you this, you'll see instantly what I mean. That it is just the Ghostbusters logo combined with so open image in new tab. Finally, we'll get there. So for comparison's sake, here is David Corenswet as Superman. And if you pay close attention to his logo, busting makes him feel good.
Who are you going to call? Superman!
Yeah, exactly. That is the crossover. Forget Batman versus Superman. I want Superman the Ghostbuster.
My weird thing with the suit is the underpants. The boxer underpants.
What's with that?
It looked great on the animated show, but here it looks weird.
Yeah, they're slightly shorts, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a boxer's underpants. Superman has moved on from jogging.
I'm not convinced by I don't know if I can zoom in. Oh, I can a little bit. It's got this weird detail here. I just don't think all of these costumes need it. It used to just be so simple.
I think by CG with here's the thing: the complete Superman outfit of Henry Cavill's was kind of the same to the one we saw in the CGI version as well. But I think this will be touched upon with a lot of CGI stuff, so it'll probably look shiny in the film. But I gotta say, David, I'm gonna fight you on the underpants. Like, it just lose the underpants. It looks silly.
No, look, he has to have the underpants, but they should be underpants, not boxer shorts.
Or he could just wear a red belt. How about that? Can we
No. Look, Superman has to have the underpants on. You know, I can't get over how naked he has looked for like the last 10 years as Henry Cavill. It's just like he's forgot his underpants.
The weird thing is, because he doesn't have that big red spot in him in his lower area, you tend to not to focus on that. You tend to usually look up. But when Christopher Reeve's around, highlights.
Well, okay, so I know where you were focusing, but that's probably like none of the women went to see Man of Steel. It's just like there was nothing to draw their attention in.
They were like, Superman without underpants? No.
No. But I don't know if I can find it quickly, but apparently we've also seen the first shots of Nicholas Hoult as... Oh, here comes Tim. Tim!
Hi, what's going on, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen? And
we were just reacting to Superman's Superman's newly found underpants.
Wait, he just found them? I'm sorry.
So like for 10 years he's been without, but now he's got for like the boxer shorts.
Boxer briefs are my favorite, but if you have like muscular inner thighs, they're gonna rub together and chafe. Personal experience. But I'm glad he's got like the
humble brag there, Tim. What a humble brag. If you've got muscular inner thighs, personal experience.
They're not muscular inner thighs. They're just inner thighs. Like they're
I understand.
Totally fine. I gotta stop there. Oh my goodness! Did I just dig myself a humble hole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we may also have Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I've seen the photos earlier. Now I can't find them. Oh well. I'll find it at some point, but there's all kinds of set photos.
I am not concerned on this at all. Him as Luthor, no. I'm not for this. It's just another upgraded version of the Jesse actor from
Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I need to see this.
Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to load it. It says, okay, so here we go. So if I click on this tweet, hopefully it should come up.
He just looks like a Vulcan without the pointy ears.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah, like his eyebrows are like, I am an evil billionaire. Is Jeff Bezos my inspiration? Maybe.
So look, there we see him. He's got he's got some cuts on him, so that's obviously going to play into the story.
I'm getting Eric Bana vibes from Star Trek. The one, the Chris Pine one.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, that is so a skull cap. Like, can you see that?
Maybe it's wrinkles. Maybe they're putting wrinkles because he is slightly older, like Luthor.
Wait, is he literally just wearing like a bald wig?
I think so.
That's ridiculous. Just shave your head, man. Unless it's for where they put on the makeup for the scar. But these lines, it's just different from the rest of his neck.
Well, the red lining around the cuts are good. I mean, that shows that there's like some inflammation and it's immune response. So I respect that.
I mean, can we not get more charismatic bald guys? Is there a drought on charismatic bald people? Just find a bald actor.
I'm right here, guys. It's just because I always wear my Superman hat in support.
There's Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson,
yeah,
okay,
he's charismatic.
Wasn't he Crypto the Superdog?
I think so.
And also Black Adam.
And Black Adam, yeah.
I know a bald guy who's a kleptomaniac, but I don't think he's charismatic.
Oh.
Pretty sure he's a kleptomaniac.
We spoke about The Rock a little thing. The thing with The Rock is that he does not have a good director who will boss him around to be a better actor. So far, people just let him do whatever they want, and he's not actually pushing his skills in a sense. So I don't think he'll be a cool Lex Luthor.
That's fascinating.
The thing is, imagine if Dwayne the Rock Johnson did play Lex Luthor, and then you'd have David Corenswet, and then the Rock just comes up to him and dwarfs him in size.
Yeah, that's
it's like he doesn't need. He's just like, I don't need kryptonite, you know.
That would be kind of cool.
Although in the Superman the Animated Series, Lex Luthor was built. Like he was only like slightly, I would say, not wider than Superman, but like height-wise and also body-wise, he was built.
I would love to see Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Lex Luthor. I think that would be one of my favorite interpretations of the character outside of what the normal is, like Kevin Spacey-esque type deal.
Yeah. See, I've said this on the show before. Superman Returns had the biggest wasted opportunity in Superman history. There was a kryptonite island. When Superman landed on it, they could have a fist fight, and they didn't do it. Like, Kevin Spacey gave him like a punch and stat. No, it was like 2 moves.
I think there's an interesting thing.
Other people beat him up. Other people beat him up already. So why does he need to do anything? Like his henchmen, like even an Indian dude beat him up.
Well, I think there's I don't know if the idea was from here, but or from elsewhere. But Superman Returns is a movie where Superman doesn't throw a punch, and like I think I don't know if it was here that I got it from, or a YouTube essay. But which some are really good on the Superman issue and interpretation of it. But in Superman Returns, it means kind of that Superman is past the need for physical violence, and that.
I think Dave MC also pointed that out on the SWAT Dates talk when we had Superman. Like Superman never really outright punches people, like basically normal bad guys. Unless like they're wearing power armor or something like that. Other than that, he just doesn't do anything. He let them do all the punishment and they just tire out. Although there is the older animated Superman, and you can see Superman just breaking bricks with people's faces.
It's true.
It's probably in the Looney Tunes. It's like, the old animated Superman movies, right? The Looney Tunes version of them. It's like the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that, Lois is trapped on a rocket ship. There's just gangsters. Superman just like punning those people with fists.
Just like clobbers their brains in. Like, I'm going to turn this into Hamburg.
So
Damn.
maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe not old Superman, but yeah, go on, Tim.
I just thought that the concept of like that is kind of cool, even though it makes for a pretty boring movie. And yeah, you're right. I'm going to turn an island into Krypton using these crystals. I found it to be very meh. You know?
At that time, to what you need is that, you have this great script. So far, the acting is brilliant, story is brilliant. So just at that island moment, you bring in Zack Snyder. Okay, give me a fight scene. And he'll give you a brilliant fight scene. And then, okay, go away. Rest of the script continues.
Well, there's the Sokovia problem with Age of Ultron, Like, we must reach the core! We got to blow up the core! Like, maybe there's, like, a heightening of that landmass that needs to, I don't know how that works. But in Superman Returns, you have that landmass floating out into space. Does that become the next Krypton?
That's a really good thought. Like, obviously, we never got the sequel to Superman Returns, so we don't know what... Imagine that, like, they could be a later Superman where someone, like, comes across from space. I forget, like Martian Manhunter or something. Superman sent that into space. It became a meteorite, and it blew up another world.
It collides with that world, too. It absorbs it and turns it even more into Krypton. Because it's just like a colonizing landmass.
There's a animated sketch of like the Justice League forming in the Justice League animated show, and everyone's like telling their superpowers, and Martian Manhunter's like, I am super strong, I can phase through things, I have Martian vision, and they move on to other characters, but Martian Manhunter still keeps listing superpowers. I can do telepathy, I can teleform, and Batman's like, is he still listing superpowers? And Superman goes, oh, he's as broken as me. How come a planet full of these things go extinct?
Yeah.
Maybe they're coming and they're fighting.
But if Superman does create a new Krypton, let me tell you, if he has common sense, he's not going to stay there. He's going to be like, I'm Superman here. Why would I want Krypton where I can be a regular guy?
Okay, in the chat we have Ruff McGruff says, I'd like to see new faces taking roles as superheroes. I mean, it's a fair point. Like, Nicholas Hoult was in X-Men. Like, David Corenswet, I think, is technically new to it, but the amount of recycled actors we have. Says, of course, I like an actor who looks like the characters, but also an actor who brings more skill and hunger to the movie. I mean, hopefully that's what James Gunn always there's always going to be his brother in there somewhere. And there's always going to be the guy from, I forget his name. Like the blue dude in Guardians.
Yondu.
Yeah. He's always going to show up somewhere or other. But Gun sucks, says Ruff McGruff. Now, I liked Guardians 2 in particular. I didn't like the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker can... Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. I'm hoping he does good with Superman, though.
I liked all the Guardians films. I have no problem with them. Especially, even the third one hit my heart pretty hard, but still loves it. Suicide Squad, again, I think for DC films, I would say that's probably right now the benchmark because I had so much fun watching it. Peacemaker, well, I was impressed with John Cena. I didn't really think he could be a good actor, but he was.
No, and fair play to him.
It's unfortunate that Cena is facing the same challenge that, Batista originally had. He's being typecast.
Yeah.
Batista's acting capacity, especially in Blade Runner 2049, I was like, whoa, okay.
I think Batista has really shown that he's got some like really subtle, quiet-spoken stuff. It's not all just huge and big, which is ironic because his presence is huge and big. But what was that? I didn't like it. What was that? Was it Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of it, but Batista showed that he was a good actor in that.
Never saw it.
It was like the M. Night Shyamalan film.
Yeah.
About, the end of the world or something like this.
The thing with Batista is that he works with directors who will push him, and he doesn't treat himself as a brand. He treats himself as an actor. So he's willing to experiment, willing to take orders from people, follow a formula. While with The Rock, the opposite approach, where he is a brand and he has his own team, they will go in, they will rewrite the script. Rock will not take more than 3 punches in a movie, and he cannot be beaten by the bad guy. So this is why The Rock has not evolved. He was evolving in the 2000s. Also, his films kind of sucked at that time. But I think if he kept on that pace, he would have been better. But he's more of a brand than an actor. And also, hello, Dev, our own brand.
Just makes me think, like, what's the difference between a brand and an actor? Is like, what carries on in history?
Yeah.
I would say
Ryan Reynolds.
Right. Well, Ryan Reynolds. What you say? He is a brand now, right?
Yeah.
He is a brand.
Yeah.
I think he's a brand. I mean, he's got.
I would say Will Smith is a brand and a good actor. He has both.
I think he's tried to do both. It's difficult right now where Will Smith is, though.
Right now, but like he has some like solid films like Pursuit of Happiness and like a lot of other Concussions and stuff like that. So
wasn't the latest Bad Boys film like a huge success?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. But I'm glad it was.
It's coming out last week, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
The other great success right now is Disney's Pixar, which has grossed $800 million in the global box office right now. It's still going.
It's Inside Out too, right?
Yes.
It's cool.
Good. I've seen it, and I like it.
I have seen it, and it is likable. That's cool.
Guys. No, go ahead, Tim.
I have some friends who saw it. They have good things to say about it too, so I should probably check it out.
Yeah.
Although I would say their approach is very much. I think the reason is that it's very relatable now. Anxiety and stuff like characters and Gen Zs are like, hey, this is about us. We can of course watch it.
Yeah.
So I think that has it going for it. But it's also a film that was a lot of Pixar's films that were received very well did not go into sequels except for the Toy Story brand. So this is a nice change of pace, and I think it's paying off.
Isn't there like 25 Cars movies?
I tend to exclude that thing. Definitely.
Wait, so how many Cars movies? On there 3, and then there's Planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Planes has 2 or 3 going for
Oh my
it?
God, really? There are 3 Planes movies.
Back in a moment.
All right.
Yeah, sure. So, guys, something I have seen in the last week. We had the finale of Doctor Who, and I'm going to give a couple of thoughts on this, even if you guys aren't all up to date on it. The thing that's interesting is they changed the main actor, going from Jodie Whittaker. No. I mean,
David Tennant.
Yeah, we went from Jodie Whittaker. They had the 60th anniversary where they brought back David Tennant, and then they introduced Ncuti Gatwa. And this season only had 8 episodes, and the reason why it's gone that way is because the first 3 episodes were obviously of the production run were the David Tennant ones. So this means that the introduction to the new Doctor is super short. And then, as I would have said a week or 2 ago, 2 of the episodes of this season were what they call Doctor Light episodes, where he was barely in it. And so it feels like it's over in such a flash where not much has really happened with it. And I'll be honest, the season-long arc that they had is so funny that Disney are now funding Doctor Who, because it's like they ripped it straight. The big reveal, the big twist is basically Rey's twist from Star Wars. That this character that's been a mystery character just turns out to be a no one, and her parents are no one, and she's not important at all. And it was like, how can you do the same stupid mistake twice from within the same company? Of introducing a character that's got a mysterious background, and then it turns out the reveal is that they're just a nobody.
David, I've not seen the show at all, but so far the Acolyte has the same criticism going for it. And not only that, it basically takes away from all the films that are already established. You know that thing that there's a channel called Star Wars Lore or something, did a parody episode, where Palpatine is corrupting Anakin about telling Darth Plagueis the wise about immortality and stuff. And then they kind of shoehorn in the new Acolyte thing. There are people who already kind of did that, like Star Wars witches or something like that. And then Palpatine and Anakin's like literally saying that lore. Oh, I heard of that stuff. It happened in the previous thing called Acolyte, and Palpatine's like, what the heck are you talking about? Because it breaks the whole lore.
I don't know. This is a real problem that I think that a lot of shows and movies have got, where they're all really excited that we're going to do prequel stuff that's going to change everything that we've already established. And I look to Star Trek as the biggest example of this. You did The Next Generation. Please, someone, just do The Next Generation at some point. Don't always change what already exists and confuse it with tons of plot holes and contradictions. Just do the next chapter of all of these stories. Like, people have been growing up with them. It's nice to throw in the occasional prequel, but I'm just going to say, well, actually, there were 50 Doctors before the first Doctor, and here is like 7 prequel Star Trek series. And every single Star Wars show that we make is going to be a prequel set in between, because now they had the prequel Star Wars, and then they were like, well, now there was 1, 2, and 3, then there is Rogue One, and then there is 1, and it's like, what? And then they're like, but now we have these other shows that fit in between the prequels and the other prequel that fit in between the other prequels. And it's getting so confusing. Just do the next chapter. Just do the very next chapter of where it ends up in 100 years' time.
See, the funny thing about that is Star Wars did the same thing with Discovery and Brand New World. And
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Like when Star Trek did Enterprise, it's like, okay, we're going to show like the first Starship Enterprise, but then, like you said, when they made the films, and it's like we're going back to Captain Kirk. It's like, okay, fair enough, because you're going to reestablish this for a film series. But then all of the TV shows, they finally did Picard, which is a sequel to The Next Generation and Voyager and all that, but literally just by like 10 or 15 years, because the actors have aged. It's like, just do the next generation.
Yeah, I love how they struggled to put in Brent Spiner because he's the one that noticeably aged.
Yeah. It's the weird thing. It's like Red Dwarf with the character Crichton, who's like a robot. And when they brought it back after like 10 years, it's like a lot of them look like they'd aged a bit, but it's like the robot looks like it's gained weight. And then when they did it like the next 2 seasons, it's like that robot's really gained like a lot of weight around the middle, and he's got wider in the face as well. You know, and he's a robot, and he shouldn't be.
He's been loaded. Yeah. He's been loading off that motor oil.
Well, exactly. You know, but absolutely the same with Data in Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I think you can still do prequels, but as long as you don't break your own lore. I think that's why I like the Clone Wars.
Okay, so Cap, I have a perfect example of that. Yeah. Where they did it really well. And you're gonna laugh what it is. Young Sheldon.
Wow. What?
Young Sheldon.
Oh yeah.
I never watched it. Did they break their own lore, or was it good?
No, they didn't. They made it better. Like they stuck to it. They made it better. They even kept like the timeline perfectly normal as well.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the Big Bang Theory to say it's 100% because
I think like the purpose of a prequel is when we've heard about like events, it's a case of, hey, this is a chance to actually show you them. Yeah. And along the way, you can put in like, oh, so this is how this character. Like, I love the Lion King 3 or the Lion King 1.5, yes. Where you find out it's like, oh, so that only happened because they were there and we didn't see it and stuff like that. That's great. But when they were like, well, we're just doing our own thing now, so you know, the old show, it doesn't matter. This is just something completely different.
Like
I would say that also helps you to bring the weight. Like if you're repeating it, like with the Star Wars, that's why I like Clone Wars, because like it's eventually leading into a tragedy where know this is all gonna fade away. All the characters you love so far are probably gonna end up dead. Like they're gonna be really tragic position, and they did that so well. They even made up like how Anakin started to distrusting the Jedi as it went along, where he loses all the connections that he built up on that show. And at the end of the day, when the tragedy struck, you know that tragedy is going to strike, but still, it makes all of that weight sink in because like you've gone on this journey together, knowing this is going to happen. But again, this only works if you don't break the law. Tim.
Go on, Tim.
Well, Disney, Lion King 1.5, knowing the outcome of Darth Vader, that allows the concept of dramatic irony, which allows you to, I love bringing it back to dramatic irony because we know what's going to happen, but we don't know how. So it gives us some, we don't have to process as much and we can enjoy the story more. Yeah. And, prequels might be good for that, but you're right, David. It would just be good to see more story in the sequel or further down the timeline.
Guys, I'm gonna give you an example of how you can have like good world building and stuff that so using Lord of the Rings as the example, when they made the Lord of the Rings films, it's because they couldn't get the rights to make The Hobbit. And so it's like the rights to The Hobbit were tied up elsewhere. And so then when they made them, the whole beginning chapter of the story had to just be sort of like, here's a prologue of telling you what the world is that we're in. And then they could show it. But along the way, we saw like the trolls that were turned into stone that then we see happen in The Hobbit. And it's so exciting for the audience when you see like, I remember this, that's how that happened, and things like this. But yeah, well, even Lord of the Rings, they were like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of dwarves here. We've got to get Legolas back, you know, and stuff like that.
David, my favorite thing about The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, though, is there were some discrepancies, like some like between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like it didn't make sense, right? So you know what he said? Like in canon,
Yeah, go
the
on.
reason it doesn't make sense is because Bilbo lied.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ooh.
Well, do you know what? And that's great because I think I know this story. So after he wrote Lord of the Rings, on later editions, or it was just that in later second editions of The Hobbit, he tweaked it to make it make sense. But it was that, yeah, I have heard that before. That's great. That's great. If it's like, oh, I worked myself into a plot hole, it's like, well, I can go back and fix it. And he was the author, so he had the ability to do that just within new versions of the book.
But I love the fact that like Legolas got like twice as awesome in the prequels. It's in a sense like he downgraded in the Lord of the Rings when compared to the Hobbit, where it's like stepping on stones as they fall. He's like, I'm moving on air, bitches. Although that was awesome, though. You can never have too much things of awesome.
Okay, guys, has anyone... We only have a few minutes more for the show. I'd say probably about 12 more minutes, just because I've got a thing that I've got to attend to. But is there any things that you guys have seen, trailers, movies, shows, that you want to give a reaction to, Tim?
I've been watching The Expanse, and I love all the characters in it. My favorite character is Roberta Draper, who is her character. It's just like get her done, like get stuff done, and it's like, oh, it's so cool to see Bobby Draper kick ass. Oh, she's like, and like the music where she's in her like Spartan suit. Honestly, they should have made Halo. They should have got the person who wrote Roberta Draper's character development arc in the TV show and like put them in the Halo series. Would have been so much better.
I've seen the Mufasa trailers, and I am really, really pissed off, and I don't want this to happen. Just my thoughts.
Well, the whole movie?
I think it's going to be a series, right? Mufasa's going to be a series.
Not a clue.
It's going to... They got a weird angle, like saying like Mufasa's an orphan, and somehow became the king. It's like, what are you talking about? He has space dabs all over the sky. He's been the long reigning king. That's how the story went. I never liked the designs that they did, like even the realistic lines that they went with. I really hated the Mufasa. If you look at the old animated films, like each character line has like very distinctive design, and real lions can't have that. Like I've seen documentaries where lions look kind of very different, the mane color and stuff like that, which they did not do at all. And Disney, you still keep doing the boring, realistic thing. Why can't you upgrade and do some stuff?
The weird thing, though, is they did the Jungle Book just before, and like Baloo looks great. They've got personality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, the solution is right there, and they refuse to do it. You know how you make money with Mufasa? Make it animated.
And also the other thing is like Mufasa, like I've been saying this before, Simba is the pushover, Mufasa's the man, okay? And we're gonna get Mufasa's story. Why don't you give us an animated series? That would have been so perfect. You know how X-Men went. You could have done it. Why?
See,
why?
I'm gonna be an outlier here. I don't want a Mufasa series. I want a Scar series.
Ooh.
I want to see how he got screwed over.
Yeah.
Mufasa means like king, and
I think they will cover that in here as well. But I think they already did the Lion Guard, and the story was like
the weird thing. Like Mufasa basically apparently means king, right?
Yeah.
And Scar's original name Taka means trash. So you named one son king and the other one trash.
That's tough.
It's Ahadi, okay? The Mufasa's dad's name is Ahadi, and he basically said, "Son, I'm gonna love you with all my heart. I don't even care about that one. But you know the weird thing in lion societies, the lions with the black manes tend to be the most biggest and the most aggressive than the ones
They
with the light.
exist.
Let's look it up. So a lion with a black mane.
Yeah, like the difference between the lion with the black mane and lighter manes.
Well, let's see how much this actually looks like Scar. Okay, there is some photos. Let's see if any actually really look like Scar.
Scar's scrawny. That's the opposite. Technically, the black mane ones were the biggest and the most aggressive, but in the story, he was the scrawny guy.
Okay, so this says Shutterstock on it, so I don't know if they're going to be angry that I'm sharing this within this, but yeah, apparently so.
Huh.
He looks like a happy lion, though.
Yeah, this one
Maybe
looks
he was
a bit
lying down.
Scar-like.
There's a doc. I think you can probably find that clip, or maybe I have it on the phone, or I'll share it to you later.
Oh, this one looks like him.
But that one is scrawny. That one's built like bricks. Look at that. The real one is built like bricks. But
Yeah.
there's a study that they did with captive lions, basically. They had like other dummies of lions led down in the woods, and they let the lions out. The one with the lighter mane, basically the blonder manes, they would come in and they would not straightly attack it. They would sniff around. They would be very scared of it. But then they let the lion with the black mane out, and straight up it goes and demolishes that dummy. That's why, again, they established that like the black mane ones are much more aggressive.
Yeah, cool. Right, so guys, let's have a look, see if there's any other
Have
news
we talked
or
about the news Superman stuff, like Mr. Terrific and the costume?
we have touched on it, but if you've got reactions, let's bring this back up here. So obviously there we can see the David Corrin sweat. And I believe this is correct to bring up. This is my reaction to what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like no offense to him, right? And I don't mean this as an insult, but it looks like they found a Tesco value version of Henry Cavill and put him in the suit.
Well, what is it they usually see on like memes and that? It's like mom will say, or like kid will say,
Superman at
Mom,
home.
can we have Superman? It's like, no, we have Superman at home. And then this is Superman at home.
Although I'll tell you what I do like about that costume. The logo on the cape.
Is it different than the logo on the front?
No, it's the same logo, but the cape, no, like, usually they don't have the logo on the cape. This is the first time they've done it in ages.
Okay, didn't Christopher Reeve have the logo on the cape?
Yeah, but that's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, true. What? So, hang on. You're saying, like, Henry Cavill didn't have the logo on the cape?
I don't think so, and neither did Tyler Hoechlin.
Or Brendan Routh.
Wow.
I didn't even know Superman had a logo on the cape. Like, I didn't even know Christopher Reeves had a logo on the cape.
Yeah, definitely. Because he was wrapped in it as a baby, wasn't he? And that was his symbol.
Yeah.
How come I never noticed that? Christopher Reeves, Superman.
Well, I do know the reason, Cap. As you explained earlier,
it's jockey underwear.
It's the underwear. Like like the underwear just draws your eyes in, Cap. You're looking elsewhere. You can't escape it. I liked. Okay, out of all of these, how do you rank them? And then include Corrin Sweat in there.
Are we talking about muscular thighs?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Who has the most muscular thighs?
They all look good.
Brandon Routh has. I think Brandon Routh is bigger than all.
Yeah, it might be the angle though. It might be the angle.
No, I think by height wise is Brandon Routh probably the biggest.
He's the biggest because David, if you can bring it up, there's a picture of Tom Welling, Tyler Hoechlin, and Brandon Routh together.
Okay, hang on. I'll do my best.
He's big. Brandon Routh's big.
He's like 6'5" or 6'8".
Yeah.
I think he's probably the accurate Superman, I would say.
And all bodies are good. You don't have to be tall. You don't. It's okay to be short and all that stuff, just to make sure we're all covering that.
Well,
You know?
speaking of which, Tim, the best Superman is the one in the middle here.
Yeah.
That's David Corrin Sweat in the middle, and then we have the other Supermen around him.
Honestly, who's the guy on the right with the cool Cambridge uncle beard? Yeah.
So that's
Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay. He looks the happiest. Like he just came out of like a Whole Foods buffet and got like just bacon or whatever was his
It's
favorite
weird
breakfast.
as well. He's the most recent, yet he looks the oldest.
He does. Brandon Routh hasn't aged.
Yeah.
Dean
Brandon Routh
Cain-
actually got a little younger, I think.
Yeah.
He's got
Tom
one of
Welling.
those-
Tom Welling actually got younger.
I actually thought like Brandon Routh was Christopher Reeve's son when I saw him on Superman Returns. I thought this must be his son. Like he looks so much like Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I spoke to him about that, and he said that they purposefully made it look like him because that movie was supposed to be the sequel to the Christopher Reeve
Yes.
movies.
Oh yeah, he left and then he
That,
came
do you know what? That may be one of the early examples of a sequel that ignores later sequels. Because that's become so popular nowadays, like with Terminator and Halloween, and they were going to do it with Alien. But Superman Returns is a sequel just to Superman 1 and 2 and ignores Superman 3 and 4.
It ignored Nuclear Man.
It did,
Shame.
yeah. But it was for a really silly reason as well. Because Superman slept with Lois Lane in the events of Superman 2, they had to say, well, that's when they slept together, and so that's when Super Baby could be born. And so just for that reason alone, Richard Pryor got like erased from Superman history.
But didn't he sleep with her after he gave up his powers?
Oh, maybe. Or maybe he slept with her and then was like, okay, this works for me. I'll give up my powers. He had to be sure.
No, it gets even weirder because that Superman Returns Superman, it comes back in Crisis of Infinite Earths on the CW Arrow and Flash.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah. Brandon Routh Superman Returns on for that Crisis of Infinite.
Yeah, because Brandon Routh is already on the CW universe as the
That's
Atom,
cool.
so they had him reprise his role as Superman Returns Superman in Crisis.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have to wrap this in just a minute, guys. But what the weird thing about that is within that, he mentioned, because he gets into a fight with like the modern Tyler Superman, he actually mentions, I once fought myself before. And it's like, no, you didn't. They decanonized Superman 3. So,
Yeah.
He may have done it in the animated movie.
well, yeah, exactly. Or perhaps this was just a very similar Superman Returns Superman, but not the exact same one, where somehow Superman 3 still happened. Who can say?
Yeah.
Bring back
Right,
Brandon
guys.
Routh as Superman. Just
We're going
don't
to
say
have
that.
to wrap this, I'm so afraid to say, but we'll hopefully be back for a proper length show next week. But let's find out where we can find everyone and any geeky recommendations, starting with you, Cap.
You can check me out on Sword Deeds, where I sing I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with Top Edge. And recently uploaded a video on Father's Day. What if Mufasa was a better dad? Yeah, I went there. So check that video out, and you can also check out other videos where I pay tribute to Mufasa, and also matched up the lions of the Pride Lands against Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. So 3 videos, go check them out, and there will be another video about Inside Out this week, if all goes well with my computer.
Okay.
No problem.
Tim.
You can find me at Potato Based Economy on Instagram. Don't post a lot there right now because I'm busy with Providence Improv Guild and helping out with that improv group in Providence, Rhode Island, the smallest state in the United States. And also, you can find me here just every once in a while. And David, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Pleasure as always, Tim. Dev.
You can find me on Twitch and TikTok under the name FWDAT. And my geeky recommendation this week is Axel F, the new sequel to Beverly Hills Cop, coming out next week.
Ooh, I definitely want to check that out. Okay, so my name is David Pisansky. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pisansky, but check out everything Geek Battle Gaming, and Extreme Improv on all of the channels. And my recommendation is, if you didn't see it, Nick in the comments, how much longer are we about to go? We are wrapping things up here, but I would recommend you catch up with what they've done in Doctor Who recently. Okay, so until next time, stay safe, always stay extremes, live long and prosper, and ciao for now. Boom. And we're off the air.
Ba-ba-da-ba.